look at a 12-month chart, which means each one of these candles represents a 12-month chart. Each one represents a different year. So as I mentioned, this was one of the first things that convinced me without a shadow of a doubt that the market is run by an algorithm and that we can learn the algorithm if we just know where to look. So what I'm going to do is use this tool right here, which this tool offers me, as I talked about before, a 0, 100, and a 50. So what we're looking at is a 0, 50, 100 tool that will allow us to see the exact mid of any location. So last week we talked about fair value gaps. So let's take a look at what happened as of 2020. So in 2020, created this big up move. In 2021, created a higher candle. We were left with what we had seen before as a fair value gap or gap. Now, here's the top of the previous year's candle. Here's the bottom of 2021. If we use our fib, bring them from one to the other, we are able to look at the middle level of this gap. Do you notice what happened right here? Take a look at that. Price within 2022 came all the way down and hit perfectly into that middle section. Now, at the beginning of that year, what happened? So here's 2021. January 2022 hits. See how they had that little tiny wick up there at the top? Well, look what happened at the beginning of the year. Beginning of 2022 opens right there. And then you see how beautifully price raises right here, right to that mid level. Wick mid, right? Price likes to balance. The market likes to balance. And we're talking about full years. We're not just talking about a couple of minutes. But once again, the market is fractal. So price comes up in 2020, 2021, 2022, hits our wick CE or wick mid right there and falls out of the sky. Where does it stop? Well, it stops perfectly at the gap's middle level. Beautiful. Okay, so that's 2022. What happens in the next year? Let's move over a little bit. Let's take this to the close of 2022 and the low of 2022. What do you think about that? Absolutely gorgeous. When we got into 2023, price came down and it perfectly tapped, chef's kiss, the middle level of the wick of the previous year. You see how easy it is to understand that price is not random? This is the algorithm showing its hand. Imagine what it would be like if you're an investor maybe to be taking trades here, maybe your stop loss underneath here. And look how much the entire year, nothing but up. The entire year, nothing but down, right? These are extremely important concepts. And this is what really convinced me, even this year. Yeah, 2024 was straight up in the air. We didn't really do much. We didn't have, this small wick was invalidated straight to the top. But what happened this year in 2025? At the beginning of the year, we had a huge down here on the NASDAQ. But where did it go? Yeah, it went a little bit farther. Didn't go below the low though. You notice that? So we're looking at things that show us that price loves the middle.